Welcome to part 3, and for number 7, we have One Piece.
This last piece is going to be a little bit longer because we're getting into the heavy hitters. One Piece, man, you have a lot of dialogue. We're still introducing more characters. We start off right off the bat with Kaizo of the Mist stealing the key to essentially Luffy's cuffs. This is huge. He could break him out just by himself.
Yeah.
They don't need Luffy's friends or anything. He can do this himself. This is huge, and I really like that from the get-go. This is what's happening.
I do wonder how he snuck in, but I mean, he's a ninja, so
He's
I guess
a
that kind of
ninja.
explains it away. And then we see Luffy actually taking action, beating up that guard, and the punishment for beating up a guard is being sentenced to death, because they also explain the different levels of punishment.
Yeah, which
That you can have.
we didn't really need an explanation of it. So many things are punishable by death. Some of the first offenses are chopping
Cutting off arms
limbs.
and then legs.
Oh man,
That's a bit extreme. And then Luffy gets knocked out because he can't use his haki.
he wishes he could, because then he can knock out a lot of people that are here who are weaker than him. If he's in a weakened state,
And still able to do what he was doing?
still
It's
able
impressive.
to one-shot some of these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luffy is even said so himself.
He's training.
He's training here. Like,
That's crazy. And then we also see Queen, the performer, actually doing something. I was surprised at his bounty. That it was over 1 billion.
yeah, he must have got taken in quite early upon reaching that bounty.
Yeah.
And when you are given a position like his, yeah, of course you're gonna take it.
And then he's given 3 pieces of bad news.
Eustace Kid has escaped.
Stolen key for the handcuffs. And then Luffy's trying to escape.
Yeah, he's trying to escape right now. It's like, why aren't you going after him? It's that comedy. It's that One Piece comedy that I like, and just the seriousness of that guard telling him, like, oh yeah, this is happening right now, and
Just straight faced.
yeah, it's like, do something about it. Queen actually has a logical side to him that just made it really funny.
We go to Abyss Town, and we see Tonoyasu annoying Frankie Law and Usopp, saying that they have any pick of the house because all the houses are deserted because everybody left. Still don't know what the outcome of Sanji's fight is at this point. Correct? I haven't seen anything.
I thought we got him away. I thought he turned invisible and got away.
Yeah, but I'm saying like beyond that, like
Oh.
we don't know where he is at this point. The assumption is that he's there in the Flower Capital with Nami and Robin.
Yeah, because we see them in a bathhouse, just trying to relax, just talking about plans. Maybe they shouldn't in this kind of place, and they keep getting some looks
It's co-ed.
from other patrons. Yes, it's a communal bath, and they are in love with in the right Nami and Robin.
We also see Hyu Goro in his glory, and you can tell that it's the old man
Yeah.
who we've been seeing this entire time, and apparently...
I didn't notice until the reveal a couple pages later.
Oh, you didn't make the connection with the face and
Nope.
then the outfit? Oh, it might...
But it's interesting that we got a little bit of background there, and in the prison itself, we're getting maybe an ally. Luffy didn't know who he was, he just knew he needed some help.
Mm-hmm. And then we have this final little reveal at the end. One of the people that has been mentioned by Kinemon by name is one of the 3 that they needed to find being imprisoned. Kawamatsu.
Yeah, and Raizo,
Freaks out.
yeah. Kawamatsu looks... His eye is not, get me out of here right now. It's not angry. It's not, oh, I'm happy to see a friend. No, this is...
It's a dead stare.
This is information. I need to be able to work with this. Is Kawamatsu the one who shot out the fishbone and stuck it in that guard's neck? Because I know Kid can use junk, but I thought usually that meant metal scraps. Kawamatsu might have actually been the one
Who did that
who ate
prior?
the fish.
I don't know. Maybe. We didn't see who it was.
Yeah. I had thought
It
that Eustace Kid's devil fruit power was junk in general, so I thought the fishbone could have worked. But I think it's thinking back, he mostly uses metal. So maybe that was Kawamatsu. In which case, I really want to see how many offenses he's done and what limbs are chopped off.
That is a good point. Because
If he's only able to eat and he has no limbs, but is still able to be a sharpshooter, like, that'd be kind of crazy.
at that point, how does he work?
He doesn't.
So why do they feed him? Yeah,
Prisoner of war,
maybe.
holding out on information. I'm not sure.
Fair enough. Moving on. Number 6, Jujutsu Kaisen. I liked seeing the past of Todo, seeing that he was able to beat up high schoolers even when he was young.
Yeah, his very simple-looking nature, because he was just bored,
Mm-hmm.
so he would deal with whatever really came at him.
Mm-hmm.
Something being able to break out of that by some really strange woman is neat, and he gets his kind of conversation starter from her. What's your type of woman? What kind of girls do you like? And you can. Toto is smart.
He actually uses his brain to figure out his best plan of
Yes,
victory.
he is not all brawn and no brain. He is both, and that is terrifying.
Although he is
For the enemies.
self-proclaimed on his IQ being like some absurd number.
Yeah,
Like
he
58.
might not know what that means.
580,000.
He might not know what IQ normally is, but he is smart. He is very smart.
And we actually get to see him use his ability that he only can use if there's more than one person around. And that just before impact, when he gets grabbed by Hinami from the ground with a vine, he's able to swap places with him, and he claps his hands.
Mm-hmm.
And you wind up with him getting punched in the face, because Itadori was going to hit Hinami in the face.
Yeah. And he does punch Toto in the face, but then
It looked like it was in slow-mo.
yeah,
And it's called Boogie Woogie.
Boogie Woogie, which is hilarious for someone who's such a strategist.
The strategist. But slowly Hinami starts to realize that there's nowhere for him to go, because he can be swapped either with him or Itadori. And it would be really hard to predict where that punch is going to come from.
Yeah. Also, he's using false claps
Yes.
as bluffs, so he's just constantly making noise,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't just trust your senses. You have to kind of act prematurely, and in that case, you might be too early, and you'll guess wrong.
Most
And
definitely.
You're in this perpetual motion of slowly losing because you are not in control of where you want to be.
And then we're given a little bit of exposition with Nanami Kento, the record holder for consecutive uses of the Black Flash.
Mm-hmm.
And his record was 4 times. And he just states that he was lucky. However, Itadori almost immediately is able to keep going into it, one after another.
Mm-hmm.
And just before his last one, he uses the false clap again and winds up being able to land the 4th Black Flash in a row.
Yeah, being
It looks like it was like a kidney punch.
yeah, and being such a new jujutsu user,
That's impressive, because he only did it once prior to any of these 4 times.
you don't need any other abilities if you're able to master one, because you can use that in almost all situations.
Yes.
If he makes this a more his signature move of being able to use it consecutively, that's huge and doesn't really need to be that much more flashy.
Nope.
And for Itadori, I don't think his personality proclaims flashy. I think it
No.
proclaims get it done
Mhm.
without being too serious.
I can agree with that. Next is number 5 with Act Age. Strong opinions? Already strong
Not
opinions?
not so strong on Act Age. Uh, it's a good chapter. We see some of Unagi's friends wondering where she's been or what kind of work she's been up to,
And she
and
hasn't.
she hasn't been working. They've been turning things down.
But she has the plan to act in secret.
Yeah, which is
I did get
intrigues
a
them.
I did get a laugh out of her saying it's not like I'm going to use this to act or anything.
Yeah, she's she's funny, but she's being very upfront about it.
Mm-hmm. By taking all the professional equipment.
Yeah, in which case they're trying to use, but this is also someone who is used to having someone know how to use all of these instruments, and then someone who has only really read or seen people use it.
True.
Using it himself, he wasn't comfortable. He
Yeah,
wasn't.
Yoshioka.
Yeah, he wasn't very comfortable. He was jittery, and
It's hard.
the heart wasn't there.
I would say, yeah, that, and the fact that he couldn't use all the equipment because he's one guy.
Yeah.
And it was really hard for them to get like a clear set because everybody kept interfering and saying what's going on while they were just trying to record. And I'm surprised she didn't pick up that this was about her. Whenever like they start talking about what the plot of the the movie is, you can tell that it was taken directly based around her as the character and the way that he saw her. And then, she winds up saying that we should probably use just your camera. We don't need to involve the pros. We won't be proud of the product that it creates. And like you're saying, the heart of it. And he says that the way he saw her was what inspired him to even write down a script.
And I wouldn't even say it's love. I wouldn't even say it's so much interest in her, even really of her life, because he's not really asking personal questions like, oh, what kind of music do you like? Oh,
No.
what do you think about this? Like, no, it's just my perception of this person. How does that translate to the page or onto the screen? That's really interesting, seeing someone's perspective of someone else. You see that a lot in the biographies. Not an
Oh,
autobiography,
where they
but a
paint a
biography.
picture of somebody else to make them
Yes.
seem different.
Yes. And this one is really interesting.
And then I did like that ultimately they decide to do that, and then Hina winds up seeing them, and her eyes go from being big to just pinpoint, small. It's
Like,
almost mortified
Yeah, like
how annoyed she is.
Like, what are they doing? Essentially, like, why are they having fun? Why are they taking this so seriously?
And then she just comes off as saying, "Am I just a jerk?"
And like, yes,
Kind of. Yeah, I would say so. You probably don't have your priorities in check.
Yeah, you may have had a wrong impression of Unagi.
Maybe she's just a normal girl.
Nah.
Crazy. Normal-ish.
Okay.
Everybody's weird. Everybody.
Everybody, but they're doing this together, and they're gonna have fun. And you see him blushing when she's praising kind of how he has the camera viewed on her, but he's not blushing because she's telling him a good job. He's blushing because his job looks good to someone else. and that's really
and that's how he saw her.
yeah.
Like he was able to capture what he originally had seen. So that's all good. Maybe he does have a crush on her. Probably
Maybe
does.
down the line, but he's got some very famous actors to deal with.
He's got
The love
competition.
interest.
Okay. And number 4, Chainsaw Man.
Glad you have this one so high.
There was no way I could put it any lower, but we'll get to that. We'll get to the reason why. So yeah, I put this as number 4 because we start learning more about his. He doesn't believe her about the request. Denji doesn't believe Makima that it could be anything, and she's like, "Yes, it's going to be anything." And then she starts talking about the history of the past, where about 13 years ago they started using guns more prevalently to basically deal with the devil situation, and eventually there was a lot of violence because of all the amount of guns that were just circulating. So as that started to rise, the news started to report on it more and more for all of the incidents. And then apparently there was a large terrorist attack in America. I thought this was an allusion to the Two Towers when the Trade Center went down, because it's a tall building and looks like a skyline similar to New York, where you just have a black cloud of smoke billowing out from it. And then you see that it's what you're actually seeing is bam on a TV below it, playing live. And then you see this family just reading to their son. The elder son wants attention from the family, but the dad can't play because they're just trying to spend time with the younger brother who has a very weak immune system, I guess, and is ill all the time. Ultimately, the younger brother decides, I want to go play outside with my brother.
I want to spend time with my brother because he
wants somebody to play with.
He can kind of pick up that he wants someone to play with, someone's attention.
Yeah.
If it's on me all the time, it's not going to work.
So then they go outside, and he's telling him, I don't want you to play with me.
Yeah, you're not the attention
I want. I want our dad. Yeah. And they get in a snowball fight.
Yeah, which
they start having fun.
Yeah.
And then his fingers get cold because he's not wearing gloves. And then the elder brother says, if you get sick, I'm going to get an earful. Yeah. The younger brother feels dejected and a little down about that. But then the elder brother says, hey, go get some gloves and get your mitt so we can play catch. So that way
come back.
And then come back. So you see him go up to the building, to the house.
He's ecstatic. The little younger brother's ecstatic from getting...
The elder brother's smiling.
Yeah.
And then we come to the page that made me put it this high. The destruction of the home with the brother and the family inside. It is reminiscent of a nuclear explosion. It looks like what you see all the diagrams of Hiroshima, or the famous picture, the depiction that they have in like every movie of the house being destroyed. That's what it looks like. It is that, and it just looks just breathtakingly accurate.
It shows so much detail, so much heart in this one picture of literally everything this older boy had just disappearing from in front of him.
And then you see that, I'm not sure if this is the same one, but then he's cut to the second page, and it's apparently Japan's, I guess, where they say it's a gun. What kind of gun can wipe out
a cannon?
Okay, I guess you could technically consider that a cannon or a gun, but it wiped out several city blocks. Like it's almost like half a mile wide of just destruction. And then it's like 2 miles long.
Yeah.
And like they
tens of thousands of people
in 26 seconds.
Dead.
Like they choose to put time and death counts coming up.
Several places around the world.
And America being one of the highest in the death toll count.
Makes sense for being so densely populated. But is.
And I was actually surprised. So she basically says, would you be able to do this? Do you feel like you can actually go after this gun devil? Denji says, well, I don't know, I guess I can try.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to. So we also learned that this gun devil apparently leaves behind fragments of itself, and they have attraction to one another. So the more pieces you get, the more they can be attracted to one another. And
they've been collecting. They have quite a collection already,
yeah, it's like,
and they look like empty bullet casings
mm-hmm.
at first glance.
And then we cut to Aki by himself, or not by himself, but
With his crew.
with his crew, holding a bullet in his hand. Because apparently one of the lesser devils had eaten it.
Yes. And apparently
It gives them powers.
it gives them power, essentially akin to eating something stronger than you to gain its strength.
And this is where we also learned that Aki was the person whose house was destroyed and family was killed.
Yeah, I love the side by shot profile of his younger self and now, because how he felt that day of losing is what he deals with on a day to day basis.
And this is also why he has such an extreme hatred for devils.
Yeah.
And it all starts to make sense. And they use one of the gun devil's bullets as a guiding rod to find other ones that have it.
Yeah,
in a hotel.
Kind of what it's called, a dowsing rod.
Yes.
Where it will literally lead them to other pieces. And he he has to work with his team as well as
Denji in power.
Denji in power. He does not like this. His teammates, one of his
teammates are a little questionable too.
Do not like it. I don't know what they're doing. Are they a group?
I don't know. I think these are both girls and they're getting a little friendly. I'm
not sure.
I don't know.
I'm sure in the next couple of chapters we'll learn a little bit more about who they are and their personality. I love that Denji just has an axe with him. That if he can't be relied on to use his chainsaw powers at all times, so I'm just gonna carry around an axe.
Yeah, I'm just confused at what's happening with these two characters here. Like,
it doesn't look like they're wounded. It looks like they might be some inappropriate touching.
I don't know. That was the only thing that kind of was like, what?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be explained next chapter.
Yeah, they probably have like some kind of awkward relationship. We've seen that in a lot of other things. Alright, number 3 is My Hero Academia. And I'm pretty sure you know why I put that high. But we start off with All Might leading away people that were involved, or could have been involved, with the incident where Todoroki and Bakugo are both trying to take out the carbonated water guy.
Yeah.
Soda.
And because they're mass pickpocketers, they've been planning this in this specific route because there are no patrols at this specific time.
Mm-hmm.
Lo and behold, heroes show up when they're needed. And 30 minutes after getting their provisional licenses, are in the heat of the action.
Bakugo just straight up knocks out 8 people. Or 7. I'm not sure. I didn't count exactly.
Yeah,
but it looks impressive because he just basically waves his hand and launches blasts at all of them.
Yes.
Knocks them out.
Most of the time, he's been using attacks that are very close up. So this one, I just like calling it a napalm barrage to go with his explosives. And I thought that was great. He's always had control, but maybe not the ranged option.
No.
And this is making great strides for him.
Then we see that this guy also has gauntlets and starts firing them at Bakugo, cuts the a light post. All Might steps in. Bakugo ends up helping him at the last second by blowing away the light post. That way the pedestrian that was going to be hit by the falling lamp and metal doesn't get injured.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Todoroki use his ice and heat powers to pretty much one shot this guy, this villain.
Yeah, he's not afraid to use his heat ability with uh, out in the open, because before in the sports festival he hated using it, and then in the next fight he did not use it, did not want to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the previous couple chapters where it was against other students, he used it, but it was not a public place. This is the first time we've seen him in public use it.
That's true. I do not recall the hero with the arrow on him, on his body. Do you remember his name? I don't remember his name. He just comes up with All Might and asks them if they're the ones that handled it, the situation. In the middle of all of this, apparently Bakugo got all of the purses that were stolen and prevented them from being turned into ash.
Yeah.
Impressive.
I can see that he's quick.
Yes.
He is very quick.
And then we see the villains bracelets. Gauntlets bust because they're cheap and they're off of the black market.
Yeah.
And apparently we find the person who's been pumping those in, and I guess it's this organization that's been introduced with Destro and Dernet, the CEO, and his little clique. And we see a person who's been supplying the League of Villains with
information, recruits, items,
and he's just
blueprints.
half of his face is completely messed up and darkened and black.
Yeah.
The other half is just bloody.
He has had I would say, a good progression in his character, much more so in the anime than in the manga, but we do still see him quite a few times talking with other contacts and spreading information, sowing seeds wherever he can,
Right.
to make money.
But he won't sell out his contacts.
No, because what kind of businessman would he be if he sells out the people who buy it from him?
Very, very bad one.
Yeah. Even...
I think we're going to be great friends. The CEO is demented.
Yeah.
He's out there. But go
even
ahead.
Villains
Have pride.
have pride.
Mm-hmm.
Even villains have codes that they have to stick by.
And the reason I put it this high is we see something that's apparently from the past, with the League of Villains being beaten.
Yeah.
By this lone hulking man. I do not think he is named.
I'm not sure if he's a hero
I don't think so.
or a villain or...
Because he's asking for all for one.
Yeah.
They're like, why all for one? Why?
Could he have been a failed Nomu experiment?
Potentially. I was thinking that he was somebody that was probably following all for one up to this point.
Because they were imprisoned, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the followers of All for One, right? With the initial quirks being used in society.
Yeah, there's no telling how old some of these characters are, because I mean they could have quirks that prevent them from aging, or they age at a different rate. Like he almost looks like he's made out of rock with his back.
Yeah.
And maybe that allows him to continue on for a long time. He might be 100 years old and we don't know. But he is clearly physically stronger than every member they have right now. And he's almost disappointed that the successor of All for One is Shigaraki. That's why I put it that high, because I'm actually very interested in why he said that and why they were even fighting to begin with.
Yeah, the villains really only go after either other villains or heroes. But we're also missing some of the uh, League of Villains
Other members.
here. We're missing the one who can teleport away.
True. Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't see him.
yeah, we don't see Kurogiri in this shot of a villain just being defeated.
Yeah, the only ones we see are Twice, Toga, Suichi,
Mm.
Astarosh. God, what is his name? As, Atsu, Atsuhiro,
The magician,
the magician, the top hat guy.
We have the lizard man. We have the girl who likes blood and can transform, and Twice who is just split personality disorder.
Yes. Or multiple identity disorder, depending on your version of the
Yeah,
um,
but yeah, it's
psychology course you take.
really interesting. It's really interesting chapter, and the next one, I hope has more explanation on what's going on.
Yeah, because that is a cliffhanger. Number 2, The Promised Neverland. I'll go ahead and skip that. Emma and Ray
They're
are
checking.
still they're checking on a person of their group that should have already woken up, Chris, who is still basically in a coma-like state, just laying there recovering. But they still use this time to talk about just the deep hatred that Barbara, Sislo, and Vincent have for the demons.
With good reason. They find enjoyment out of getting rid of them because they have seen what has happened to themselves as well as others, and they're pretty much the same anywhere you go. Demons will go after children, demons will go after humans. Demons don't care about humans.
Nope. But Emma keeps coming back to the fact that there was Musica and the demon children that technically haven't done anything wrong, because Musica apparently doesn't eat humans. The demon children eat humans, but they're ignorant of the fact that they are.
Yeah. And Musica at least says she doesn't eat humans. It could be a lie.
True.
We have never really seen that. But the fact that her and her warrior friend have not really changed is still baffling.
So Ray comes, that's basically war. That's what they end up comparing everything to, where death is unavoidable. It's kill or be killed. Emma's about to rebuff him, and that's when they find that Norman is back.
They need to talk to him immediately.
Yes. And they cut off his path to go back to his office. But Vincent asks him how the alliance went. Vincent says it's done. Norman says it's done. Everything is fine to Vincent. But now we have the conversation with Emma, Ray, and Norman. And
one they wanted to do
earlier,
a chapter or two ago, but we're interrupted by Barbara and Cicero and Vincent.
You have Ray hit right on the money and say that it's basically a civil war that you want to instigate. And Norman's like, of course, that's correct. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, 'cause
I don't have to explain anything to you.
Ray has always known what Norman wants, but he's never been able to stop him. Like
Norman's like one step ahead of Ray. So
like it's okay that you know what's going to happen. There's no way you can stop me from doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thinking, and it's great, and it really builds their kind of relationship.
Yeah, Norman ends up explaining the levels and the hierarchy of the demon world, and that it's actually just layered, where you have the kings, the nobles, commoners, and then the lessers, which are basically just the wild feral ones that they've been dealing with for the most part while traversing the demon world. And he also explains that the clan that they cut an alliance with and who the pawns are demons. It's the nobles from the Gillen clan, which were exiled 700 years ago. Most of this is exposition that we've already heard, but Emma and Ray have to be told it because they don't know.
Yeah, and Gillen for me sounded a little weird. I when I was reading it, I read Guylan. Just because it sounded a little bit more.
That sounds better. We'll go with Guylan.
It sounded a little bit more foreign because we're in a foreign demon world.
True.
That's just how I went about it. Also, Gil just reminded me more of fish, and these are furthest from.
Fair point. And Emma works it through her head.
Demons killing demons.
Mm-hmm. That way there's no blood from the humans being spilled. And it's the best possible outcome for them. And then she mentions that what if there are demons that are not like that? And she tells them about Musica, the ones that don't need to eat and don't degenerate.
Yeah.
And Norman's eye, just at that, and we're not even done yet, he's already confused.
Yeah.
And just surprised.
I wouldn't say confused. I think he's mortified. He is at a loss for words.
And that it would completely throw his plan into chaos because it wouldn't work. And then we have him half page with his hand over his face covering just that same eye that we saw earlier.
You always need to keep an eye open. You can't ever let your guard completely down.
Yes.
He knows this. He keeps an eye on... He's not necessarily looking at Ray or Emma. He is looking at the possibilities of his plan failing.
Mm-hmm. And he asks, how do they know about that?
Yeah. Like, we met them. You saw them. You met them.
The clan of the evil-blooded girl is still alive.
What does that mean? And why was she so nice to humans? Also, what kind of plan was she sending Emma and the kids on? Because she is the one who gave them the item and sent them off to the location where they found nothing. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder if that holds some more significance now, and if Emma is going to show off that item that she received from them.
That is a very real possibility. This story kind of goes wherever it wants, so there is no telling what will come back into being like relevant information to know, or what they choose to do. It seems like they're going to explain the backstory of this. I guess Norman already kind of knows that this lineage existed, but he didn't know that it was still around. So he has to figure out, I guess, a way of circumventing that from causing any issues with his plan.
I'm not sure if he will relay the information to Ray or Emma, because there's no real gain for them to know. We might see this as an internal monologue of his experience, but he might not tell them.
I think he would, just so that way they could tell him where they met her. It just seems kind of unnatural for them to say, oh yeah, we met her back there. Without, because he's already like let the cat out of the bag by saying that this is a thing.
Yeah. Also, Ray has a good inclination of them as well, because his life was saved by the warrior. I can't remember his name right now, but it was essentially
the male,
the guardian of her.
Yeah.
Someone who, for some reason, still
wanted to hunt people.
Still wants to hunt people, but on an equal playing ground. Equal fighting ground, I should say.
Yeah, where they're not fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
And number 1, Black Clover.
Yes, again. We're
I
back.
I could not put that as my number one.
We see another flashback to the same elves dying again and again and again, and I'm happy that they're dying again and again and again.
But they were deceived, as the humans were deceived, and the humans were deceived by the devil.
Yes. The devil that resides in the
Ronnie character.
Ronnie character, as well as the in the clover, the fourth leaf in the clover represents luck, where the fifth represents a demon. In this case, the devil. Which, having him just called the devil, I think he might have another name. Just seeing that there, I didn't really like.
You thought they were just gonna call him Lucifer, or did you think that they were just gonna call him like a higher demon or something like that?
I thought they might just go entirely different, and just make up a darker name, because Lucifer for like Hunter x Hunter, that one was kind of nice, but it still, even that one still didn't really fit him, other than the manipulating part. This one, the devil, they could have called him and really anything else in referencing to
I guess
darker darker powers at work.
I think they just wanted for it to be over the top obvious that this entity has no sympathy. It is just pure evil, and the purest, most undiluted form of evil that humanity consciously has created is the devil. So I think that's why they went with just like the simple the devil. Is it's not it's a devil, it's the devil. Like it's supposed to be like everything that's bad personified. And he's incredibly powerful, as he should be.
Yeah, he's able to one-shot one of the reincarnated elves with one shot.
He also reveals that he was the one that caused the humans to attack the elves in the first place.
Yes, because the devil influencing people, maybe mind controlling them, maybe just planting the seeds of dissent in them was all it really needs to be nurtured into a force that killed the elves.
Oh, I might be getting a wee bit ahead of ourselves. One thing just to touch on, the magic stone is what released him.
Yes, the one
stone that Yuno's had
had
forever was what released him. Sorry. So going back to the part about the humans and the being tricked, and then his real plan, which is still weird, is to get the elves to take revenge on the humans again. I guess he just likes this cycle of revenge. It just feeds him. They launch an attack at him. He returns it right back.
His magic ability in this case, Yuno has wind, Noel has water. The guy who makes mummies is reanimation. This one is words, and words. The mouse. The in another series, I really like this sentence. Is the mouth is a source of calamity, and he is the embodiment of that sentence, where he only really needs to use his mouth to attack, to defend.
But he creates a vacuum wall, so he's able to bring in things into existence.
Yes, similar to Frill, where he can draw whatever he thinks. All he has to do is the next level above that. He just needs to say it, and it happens.
But it looks like there's no limit to how, like, because for everything that Rill was creating, there was limits on like how much power it could output and how much damage it could take. The vacuum wall completely absorbed the damage that Yuno had. Like, that's why Yuno even says, "I can't beat him, even though I'm stronger. I can't beat him now.
Yeah.
At least if I'm not on my own."
Yeah.
And that's where Asta comes in.
Just yelling.
Yuno! And then
Like,
before that.
yeah, and he knows Yuno's there because the previous elf was defeated by residual wind magic, and we have Asta's, or we have Noel's cousin as well, Mimosa. I wonder what her role in this is going to be. If Asta is going to tell her to heal the wounded elves, or
well, the only one that's wounded is Raya.
Oh,
the one who had the hole punched through him.
Yes,
because Yuno protected the one who's possessing Vengeance's body.
Mm-hmm.
Not Lich.
Licked.
No, Lich is no.
That's a different one.
That's a different person. What is that other guy's name? Patoli. I forgot it too, but yeah, it's Patoli.
Yeah, but this is really interesting. Also, the demon that has been talking to Asta.
I wonder if it was the devil.
I really do. The devil, like letting him take control. It's like, oh, Asta, it's nice to see you. I've never seen you before in my life.
The devil is smirking.
Yeah, like
it's weird.
Ooh, like, is Asta's ability going to be useful here? For anti-magic, is the devil magic? Or is this just another level of strength, another level of power? Is, just because of his form, it does not look like the devil will be able to just hold onto Asta's swords and swing them himself.
No.
But I'm really wondering what Asta can really do. Maybe words don't work against him because it's that magic that the devil's able to manipulate, or really what Asta can do if his demon swords are not able to function. Will they change from demon swords to holy avengers, holy weapons?
That would be cool.
That'd be neat, and Asta purifying himself, purifying his weapons, would be kind of interesting to see. But really, he doesn't have magic to really do that.
No.
So I'm really wondering what Asta can do here.
Yeah. Likewise.
We'll keep an open eye, and we'll keep you informed on the next episode of This Week in Jump.
Good night.